Just maybe some opening remarks from me to just set the context. First, good evening and welcome to you all. It's a very exciting day for Tata Motors and Motus as our partners as we launch four very exciting products. Today, you are going to see those four products that we are going to launch. Um, just a bit of background of how we have been transforming in Tata Motors our product portfolio from the times of the old generation cars that we were making to how in the last 5 years we have transformed. Broadly, it has been on the three pillars. One is the disruptive design, which is made by our global design team based out of UK, Turin. Uh, on safety, we are the class leading. So safety has been a very key pillar for us, and that is a very strong association of us in the Indian market. And third pillar is the technology pillar. So, basis these three pillars, we have created a portfolio of products with a very wide range, starting from a dollar perspective. You see from $7,000 to a $30,000 car. So we have a spread of a wide range of product for different affordability points in India. And as a result of that, we have seen in the last 5 years, the company has significantly turned around in India with these products. We have gone up from a 4.5% market share to 13% market share. It has been a 4.5 times growth in the volume in the Indian market. And on top of that, we have been leading the charge on the electrification. So we are the leaders in electric vehicles. We started building the ecosystem in India, and today we have crossed more than 230,000 electric vehicles already sold in the Indian market, and we last year ended with about 53% market share. So that has been our journey as far as India is concerned. We were evaluating our expansion in the international markets after having seen the success of our car portfolio competing with the best of competitors in the world. And when we evaluated, we saw that South Africa was the most logical market for us to enter, because the aspiration of customers here is very similar to what you see in the Indian market. And you also see that 60% of the cars, nearly 55-60% of the cars, are being imported from India. And therefore, it's the most relevant segment for us. That's the reason why we are here today. And therefore, we hope that with a very strong partner like Motus, who has nearly every 1 out of 5 cars are being retailed by them, uh, what they provide us is not just the sales outlet, but a very strong backbone of after sales service. That's going to be very crucial, and their knowledge of the local customers and their aspirations and the product fit. I think we have gone through the journey for last 2 years, and that makes us very confident of really shaping and connecting with the aspirations of the South African customers. So with that opening remarks, open for any questions. Yeah.
Why did you guys leave the South African market, and why do you think now is the perfect time to come back?
Yeah, that's a very pertinent question, because it would be like 6-7 years back we would have left. I would say it was not an exit, that was a pause for us, because we kept the continuity on from a service perspective, because we wanted to come back, but we wanted to come back with the right portfolio. I think the portfolio of products that we had, we realized that this was not the right fit. And when we started our transformation journey in the period from the time we exited from, and as we are re-entering today, this has been a period where we have gone complete overhaul of our platform, architectures, technology. And now when we feel that we are ready with the right portfolio, and those cars have seen a success in the Indian market in the last 5 years, is when we feel this is the right time for us to restart from where we left. So I would say that it was a pause, and this is the right time we feel that we have re-entered the market. And the continuity that has been given to us is by Motus, who had been our partners then. They helped us continue with the service support that was needed, and now we think that is the right time to restart selling our cars.
All right, thank you. Leading on from the question from my colleague at Business Day, what I was wanting to find out is that obviously quite a bit has changed since during your hiatus, as it were. Obviously, we've got Chinese product sort of flooding the market. I had an interview recently with We Buy Cars, and they said that they expect 40% of the South African vehicle market to be Chinese by 2030. Even more, they actually said. So obviously, the Chinese brands weren't really here in a big way when you paused in South Africa. How will Tata stack up against these Chinese brands? Do you think you've got the fight to take them on? And leading into that, there's another question maybe for Motus CEO. You already import brands from Hyundai and Kia. Will this not cannibalize those products? Thank you.
Sure. So let me answer the first part, and then maybe Tatu and Ocker, please add to what I say, because you know the market better and you know how our products are going to be differentiated versus the Chinese. I think you will be able to therefore add to what I'm saying. See, as I said that I touched upon the width of the range of products that we have. That's a very important thing in a market, because that's a strategy that has been well thought through for even the Indian market. When a customer buys the first car in his life, you should be able to provide continuity throughout his lifetime requirement. So he should give the upgrade options throughout. I think this is the biggest strength that we will have versus the Chinese. We'll start with a product like you will see a Tiago, which is going to be a very disruptive product at a very low price. Can be the first car for a first-time buyer in the country, and then we will have the upgrade options going up to a product like Harrier. So continuity under the same roof is going to be an important differentiator for us. You'll not get this. Chinese car always start from mostly 4.5 meter plus length cars. This is one thing. Second thing, I think where we would differentiate, we are not significantly behind on the tech side. You'll see the tech in our cars. One. Second, what has really worked for us in the Indian market and what we see in South African market is the customers who are very discerning when it comes to styling and design. You will see in every segment that we are going to operate, our design is very disruptive. And today our global head of design is going to present. So that is going to be another differentiator for us. Third, which is the biggest one, and when you search for what Tata cars are known for in India is safety. We brought the concept of star rating and bringing that awareness in the country. Most of our cars are 5-star rated. GNCAP, Global NCAP 5-star rated. So I think this gives us the differentiation. What is more important, that we are working with a partner like Motus. That itself is going to be a big differentiator because they know the market. They would provide the strongest backbone, which is always a concern of a South African customer, is continuity. Will you give the continuity of supply of spare parts, continued service, whether somebody comes and goes out, whether I'll be, getting my service throughout the ownership period or not. I think that is provided to us by Motus. That's my take. Over to you, Tatu.
Yes, so maybe just on the Motus side. So we obviously, a large automotive group across the whole spectrum. So the import and distribution would be one leg, but obviously we also look after customers on a wider spectrum. So we already distribute, a multitude of other brands as well, but also sell through our dealerships more than 30 other brands. So you will always have competition in the market, but we believe you need to give the customers the choice to at least get the best value, for what their own requirements are as well. Why it was important for us then to partner with someone like Tata is when you look at the product range, they actually immediately on day one come with a very wide range from a real entry level sort of model for a first time buyer, but also they have the ability to cater for everyone up to a family type of vehicle as well. So it's actually quite a nice range, and I think our the customers, the African public, will certainly aspire to these vehicles as well, and that's why it fitted into our whole stable. So it doesn't mean you would stop any of your other distributions. In fact, it will actually just complement from a Motus perspective to the overall value proposition.
You want to add anything, Tatu?
Yeah, maybe just to add on to that, I think when it's especially speaking around competition, just to support what Shailesh is saying, I think if you look at just how the Tata brand has grown, if you look at how the Tata brand has grown, it hasn't just grown through just these SUVs. It's grown through its compact hatches as well. Now, if you look at our market, compact hatches has forever been quite a stable segment in the market because we'll always have first-time car buyers. And that's where we're going to have a brand like Tata that's able to offer good value propositions in those segments, but also, to Shalisha's point, enable the customers that as they go through the different phases of their life, be able to upgrade and grow in the brand itself. That alone is a key differentiator that many brands aren't able to offer. Many brands, new brands that are coming in at a specific point, and really you can't move from wherever you're sitting with that brand. So that's going to be the one. And if you look at the Tata product portfolio, I mean, you're quite spoiled for choice in terms of the type of product that you want to bring, whether it be body type, price positioning, as well as in powertrains and drivetrains as well.
So my question is, you've spoken about how Motus has partnered. What influence has Motus played in what range of car is brought to South Africa from the Tata range? And if so, which of the Tata range is not being brought in?
Sure. So, Motus had been a logical partner for us because they, in any case, were providing the continuity, right? And as I said, 1 out of 5 cars, they, in any case, are selling, so they have a very deep understanding of the market. Now, as we were trying to down select the products from our portfolio for the South African market, we were doing based on our secondary research of what will work in South Africa and not. But it was the Motus team which came down to India, drove our products, and they said that these products are going to be the most relevant in the first phase, right? What you're seeing is just the first phase of products, which is only the portfolio of 4. So you can imagine that there is a phase 2 set of products which also have been identified, but they come after a certain time. Once you have done justice to these 4 products, then you keep expanding. So they came to India, they tested it, they took the cars, brought to the South African market, they tested it for cumulative more than 100,000 kilometers.
100,000.
Did the customer clinics to understand what works, what we adapted our products based on the feedback that we got. So tremendous role played by Motus in terms of not only identifying but also telling us what to adapt in the products. So that's the key role they have played. You would like to add, Tata?
Yeah, so just to add to that, I mean, we've been working quite closely with the Tata team. You can imagine anything from a compact hatch all the way to up to a mid and large SUV. In selecting what we wanted to launch in phase 1, and we will probably share a lot about that as we go into the presentations, we looked at market coverage. We looked at which of the segments that are really growing, or the really large segments that we're able to compete, and where his Tata strength lies over the period. I mean, models such as the Punch has been the best-selling car in India for quite some time. Those are segments that you want to compete in, your subcompact SUVs. So we looked at that. That informed a large part of our decisions, and also some models within the range itself that speaks just to that hold the brand pillars quite high. And you'll see some of those that we'll share a bit about those later.
So are you only limiting to South African market, or you're going to expand outside?
So far, we are just focusing on South Africa. We right now don't have a plan in place, a concrete plan which I can share with you. We remain open in future to see, what are the markets of our interest. But at this stage, we have no signed off plan of expanding.
And how does South Africa feature in the company's broader strategy?
This is the biggest international market expansion that we are doing. This is the first and the biggest, I would say. We had exited a lot of markets 3-4 years back because we felt, as I said, it was not only South Africa that we exited. We said this is not the right portfolio to be a global player. So therefore, we really took a pause and we starting first with South Africa because we feel this is the most closest to what we see in India from a customer profile, kind of products and all. And this is going to be the biggest in my view for us. Going forward, of course, the aspirations are there for some of the other markets, which at this stage I would not disclose. But some markets are very EV focused markets. Some of them are ICE plus EV, some are only ICE markets. So that's how it is.
Sorry, I just wanted to also ask you. I mean, obviously, this is when you paused it because the portfolio that you were selling in South Africa wasn't working for you. Obviously, it didn't gain traction with consumers. You believe this time it's going to be different. What I was wanting to ask you, looking ahead, would there ever be any possibility of, and this is putting it out there, of Tata maybe opening an assembly plant, or is that just not something that you would consider at this stage?
At this stage,
In South
first
Africa.
in this stage, because see, every phase of going deeper in a market is a phase to be evaluated. You'll start with the import route. We'll see how the product is being accepted, which product is seeing what level of success, and at some stage, we'll keep evaluating in future whether it makes sense to manufacture locally or not. But this stage, we are not even in that stage of evaluation, I would say. But
Even ruled it out.
I would not rule that out, but I would not say that we have decided anything. Frankly, this question is being asked by you for the first time. We have also not discussed this, so that's what we can say right now.
More from a consumer point of view and Motus side, how many dealerships are you going to launch with? So coverage in the country, for the market.
Yeah, so very good question, because when we initially evaluated, you almost need to see how much you really require. I think when we put it out to the market and also to our independents, so this would not just be a Motus only dealership plan. It's Motus plus independent dealers backed by Motus, where we obviously work with larger groups as well. And the initial plan is going to be 40 in initial phase one, probably going up to 60 within the first year. So as you can hear, it's quite overwhelming support. It's so much interest that we unfortunately had to already cut on phase one, saying that we're not going to have enough vehicles to even supply, all of these. So it sounds like there's overwhelming support from the dealership side, and you'll see some of them obviously in the function room today as well. So we'll do probably about 50% Motus dealers itself, and the other 50% through independent networks.
So you will be well spread across the country.
And in every major town, right, especially initially.
We'll obviously see product lineup now. What is the timeline in terms of wheels on the ground, bums and seats kind of thing going forward?
Start of sales is start of September.
Have to ask the question then, media cars availability for?
Yes. So we've planned media ride and drives within the second and third week of September as well. And Alan, you'll have a car.
In terms of availability, so you say from the 1st of September, what cars will there be a back order? If I want to get this car as a consumer, how long do I have to wait for it? That kind of thing.
So to get to the point where we are today, where we're starting to launch, there's been a lot of planning that's been happening in the background. So for us to say start of September is the time where we're comfortable to launch. We're quite comfortable that across the range that we're planning to launch, there will be sufficient supply to meet our consumer demands. Of course, we hope there'll be more sales than we can supply, but right now we think we'll be quite sufficiently covered for the next few months.
I'm not sure if it's the right question to ask, but were there any new jobs created in Tata's return? If any, how many were created? And are you looking at creating more jobs in the short, medium, long term? What are we looking at?
See, I would just like Tata you to talk about it, and Orchid, please talk. See,
So with any brand that you enter, especially if you go, Motus will have 50% of the dealer network. You can expect in every single dealership that you're going to have, you're going to have dedicated Tata staff that are going to be looking after the brand. At the moment, I can't quantify it and give you a number to say this is the exact number of people that will be hired, but definitely in the downstream value chain, that's where Motus' strength lies. If you think about it, I mean, Orchid can speak more to it. We've got
sure. And before
13,000 people.
before that, the biggest job creation and skill development which is going to happen in the sales side and service side via Motus. So we had the train the trainers program. So the Motus team, the trainers from the Motus team went to India. They have been given the full skill, imparted the full skill that is required and knowledge that is required to impart to the set of people here who will be working on the portfolio of products, both on the service side as well as sales side. I think this is going to get ramped up over a period of time. So this is going to be in short term, the biggest creation on the skill side as well as the real employment generation part. You would like to
No,
add?
100%. I think from Motus' perspective, I mean, we employ 20,000 staff already. So, I mean, within South Africa, close to 14,000. So, will this have an additional impact? Of course it will. As soon as you expand into the network, it's also beyond just Motus, as I just said now, within the dealer, independent dealer network as well. We are also a large trainer of technicians. We probably have the largest training facilities of technicians in the country. And through training those technicians, we're also creating new jobs, not just for Motus, but for the large automotive network as well. So, it all adds up to a bigger, economic growth by itself as well, and employment by itself.
Sorry, and I know, following on Billy's question there, you can't ballpark how many jobs it could create. And by the way, when you talked about 40 to 60 in the first year from launch, that's Motus dealerships, right?
No,
Or was that half?
20 would be Motus, 20 would be independents effectively on the first round. Yeah.
So the agreement is 50-50.
Well, we'll see how it expands. I mean, we're not exclusive on either way. I think within the other brands we have, over time, we've pretty much got to a level. If you take some of the other brands, that it is almost in that sort of ratio, and just because of the Motus spread not being in every single town. So some of the smaller towns, Motus doesn't have a presence, and then we have independents, which we use even for the other brands as well. So it's very difficult to put a number. So you ask, but it's very difficult to put a number down.
You've already spoken about the company's return, why you are returning, but I think we could perhaps use more detail on the company's strategy for South Africa.
Yeah.
What are you planning?
No, as I said that we have started with the four most relevant product, providing width. So we have not only gone for one side of the demand, which is the value conscious customer or starting with the high end customers. We have given the initial spread of products, which start from the entry side on one hand. We have a Harrier, for example, at the top end, and then we have two other products. So one step at a time. Phase 1, let's make it a success. Phase 2 is on paper, blueprint is ready. Phase 3 is something which we'll see as we go forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to call it. And last question. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, so basically, just the polling comment. You believe Tata can hold its own against the Chinese brands that are coming into the market, and what gives you that confidence? And I just want to summarize. You were talking about continuity of service through Motus. The fact is that you're catering for a wide range. This starter sort of first-time buyer, and which one? That is the Tata. Which one is that? Tiago. And then of course right at the top end with the Harrier.
Right.
So you don't believe the Chinese vehicles necessarily offer that kind of range in each of the brands that are out in this market at the moment. I just want to make sure I understood that.
Yeah, see, frankly, it's very uncomfortable to tell, why against a Chinese. It's very uncomfortable question to answer versus a Chinese. I think the market will answer. The customers will really make a choice based on how they think. What we think is what value proposition we are going to deliver. The first big point is the width of the range, right, which gives lifetime continuity to the customer. That's the biggest strength. Second strength is really motors. The biggest concern I see in South African market is continuity of after sales, spare parts, and that is the second biggest point for us. Third is that I am competing with Chinese in India. There are already Chinese players in India, and I'm competing effectively and fiercely. That gives me confidence. Tech-wise, we are not very behind Chinese. I think we give all the tech in all the segments that you are seeing. I think these are broadly the 3-4 points. What makes me feel confident? Yeah.
Like if you just want to add to that, take a look at the last 5 years. Which has been the most dominant country of origin for vehicles sold in South Africa? It's been India-based products and continue to grow. Despite what happens with Chinese new entrants growing, they're not cannibalizing or taking away anything from India-based products. And that should be almost the starting point. If you look at the biggest successes of vehicles or brands that have been sort of growing in South Africa over the last few years, undeniably has been brands that have been importing vehicles from India. Why? Because our profiles are very similar in the type of vehicles that consumers want. Consumers want entry-level hatchbacks. Consumers want crossovers. Consumers want compact SUVs. And Tata has that in abundance.
You talk about like Suzuki's, the likes of those that are manufactured in India.
Honda as well.
But it's everyone. I mean, Suzuki, I mean, all the Marutis you're getting here, the Suzuki brand, that pretty much all come from India. The Toyota, all the entry-level models all come from India. Hyundai, probably 80 to 90% now we're coming from India. Renault, 90% Indian. So you can see Mahindra, obviously. So it's 57% is coming from India already. Yeah. And I think the quality, in those markets, it's been exponentially better over the last while. So that's why. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.